Howdy ho! What's going on, Rumbillions? Thanks for tuning in, tuning within, tuning upon, whatever, with me for this Eutelsat 10B mission. Falcon 9 going to Earth orbit, swing, or Eutelsat, as I like to call it. It's just more fun to say Eutelsat than it is to say Eutelsat. All right, let's go ahead and muster up where you're from, what you munching on. Locals members, I do have the locals chat open. Keith Mabe, good to see you over there, brah. And we got the usual suspects in the Rumbles rants. Flygrim, Sheaford, good to see you. The teeny tiny homestead. Familiar, not faces, but names in the chat. Cool, keep them roll calls coming. We got Jesse hosting with us today. I don't have the doggo cam running, so it's just me tonight. You already got the doggo cam earlier today when we attempted to do the CRS 26 live stream on the YouTubes. Wiley, do you mind licking your balls a little bit quieter, please? It's very distracting. So let's talk about this mission right quick before they scrub it because of weather. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking they will, but I could be wrong. Let me go big screen really quick, actually. And we'll shrink this to get down, go to Eutelsat site, and just read a quick sentence here. Eutelsat 10B satellite, a new all-electric satellite built on the Spacebus NEO platform. All right, so quickly pause if you want to read more of this. Let's go to the spacex.com/lunches. And scroll down. This is the booster's 11th flight. And once again, they will not be recovering this booster, okay? They just need the extra push out of it, so they're going to waste it. And if you want to see what that looks like, this is what it looks like. See? Booster goes up, and it never comes back. It never goes down. No, I'm just kidding. It comes down. They just didn't bother illustrating it. All right, so timeline of events, we'll have second stage engine cutoff, SECO, and that's about the time we're going to end this live stream because I'm not going to stick around till satellite deployment about a half hour after that. All right, back to the live stream. Now that we're all caught up on that, if you don't watch SpaceX live streams that often, don't worry. This is all nominal, okay? This is a fog machine, as we discussed earlier. See, it's creating the fog. All right, it's supposed to do that. As they load the cryogenic propellant onto the rocket, it starts to warm up because they're no longer refrigerating it. And as that cold propellant starts to warm up, it boils, and they need to release that. They need to vent it, otherwise it could rupture the tanks. Ooh, I want to kind of listen to it.
The launch mount at the base of the TE, but the structure is hinged and will retract away from
Listen
the vehicle
to them
in preparation
poofers.
for launch.
So when I went to the Starship presentation,
And the TE should be fully reclined at this point.
I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. When I went to the Starship presentation in Texas in February, they had Starship totally stacked on the super heavy booster. And it's, if you don't know, it's a lot taller than the Falcon 9 rocket you're looking at right here. But let me tell you, it wasn't venting, it wasn't making any noise or anything, but it was intimidating to look at in person. So really looking forward to that orbital launch that should be coming up here in the near future. Hope to see that in person, man.
That means that propellant loading is complete on the first stage. And again, at the T-2 minute mark, stage 2's propellant loading will complete. Now you see those white clouds on your screen. That is the chilled gas above the liquid oxygen tank liquid surface that we vent out overboard to maintain pressure in the tank as needed. When that gas comes out into the Florida air, the humid, moist air condenses into clouds or water. At T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9 will be in startup. This means that the rocket's autonomous internal flight computers have taken over the launch countdown, and just inside the T-minus 2 second mark, we light the Merlin M1D engines for liftoff. The Eutelsat satellite continues to be healthy, and the Falcon 9 team is tracking no issues on the vehicle.
Good stuff. What's going on? Dr. Pepper cherry, the cherry flavored Dr. Pepper, you rebel from Alabama. I personally like the cream soda flavored Dr. Pepper. That's my favy, but it's been way too long since I've had it. What do we got here? You're eating ground bison with veggies and a glass of red wine. Well, look at you. Sounds cozy for some reason. I'm just drinking boring old water because that's my life. What's up, USA Matt? My driveway is wet, not raining right now on Mare Island. Maybe we launch. Looks like SpaceX is going for it, obviously.
Up in just about 10 seconds. That's where the flight computers take over the launch countdown, but also stage 1 and stage 2 will begin to pressurize for launch.
She looks pretty frosty.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Warmer Florida air.
And there's that call out. Now we're just waiting for the final call from the launch director.
Come on, guys, just launch it. Just launch it. I'm sure the payload isn't that expensive.
Awesome
yes, they're
news.
go.
All systems are go for launch of Falcon 9 carrying the Eutelsat 10B payload.
Don't bitch out now. We're basically committed, all right?
T-minus 30 seconds. Seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engines full power. And
we did it!
9. Go Eutelsat 10B.
Well, we did nothing.
49.
We watched. But we watched them do it.
Vehicle's pitching downrange. Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying the Eutelsat 10B satellite.
Power and telemetry.
Now, during ascent, the M1D engines will actually swivel and help steer Falcon 9. This is known as gimbal. The rocket autonomously tilts the engines just a few degrees, and this gimbaling allows the vehicle to
Falcon
perform.
supersonic.
Sweet, look at it light up the
allows
clouds.
the vehicle to perform a gravity turn,
Awesome
which is
view.
when we go vertical as well as horizontal. Now we're still going up, but we are also heading horizontally away
Ooh,
from
look
the
out!
launch
They're
pad.
blowing smoke rings, brah.
And we have just
blowing
heard that
smoke
we've
rings.
passed through Max Q. That is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees on ascent.
Okay, I want to talk for a little bit. Let me just turn it down slightly. Okay, so maximum aerodynamic pressure, max Q is what she was just talking about. So as the rocket speeds through the atmosphere is thinning, but the speed of the rocket's getting faster. So those two, criteria kind of come to a head: the speed of the rocket, the density of the atmosphere. It creates the most pressure on the nose cone or fairing of the rocket. So that's the most stress. So they kind of, want to get past that window, because that's usually when rockets break apart on ascent, if they do break apart. And what she was also saying is, as the rocket goes up, you see it doesn't go straight up anymore. It starts to tilt over, and now it's kind of going horizontal. And depending on the camera view, sometimes it can even look like it's upside down at some angles, but it's going horizontal so it can continue to fall around the Earth. All right, if you don't understand orbital mechanics or how round the Earth is, just play Kerbal Space Program. It'll teach you everything you need to know. When I was a science teacher, my students loved it, and it's kind of sad that my middle schooler and high schooler students know more about Earth science than some adults who believe the Earth is a triangle or something. So this GoPro is looking down the body of the rocket. We'll get back to that here in a second. This camera is the enter stage, which rests between the first and second stage, where they house the second stage Merlin vacuum engine that you see on the right there.
Stage 1 FTS is safe.
Great news, we did have MECO stage separation, and there you can see on your screen that MVAC engine has ignited. Now, as a reminder, we are not attempting to land our first stage today as our mission requires more performance, so it will use up the fuel typically used for landing. Now, coming up next will be fairing separation in a few seconds here.
And I want to talk about that as well. All right, so they do recover the fairings to reuse them. The fairings, last I checked, cost $3 million for each half. So they strap chutes to them. Oh, here they go. Wait for it. Wait for it. If they don't separate, then that means something went wrong. All right, there they went. Cool beans, man. We might get another camera angle that shows them falling away from the rocket. Maybe. If they switch to the other aft cam, it doesn't look like they're going to. Anyway, so those will fall back to Earth. Once they enter the atmosphere, they'll build up plasma around them. And then once they're through the plasma burn, they'll deploy the chutes, splash them down in the ocean, then pick them up with their fleet of ships. All right. I don't know if it's Bob or Doug or who's picking them up tonight. I never really check in on that because I don't really care.
Now, if you're just joining us, we are currently at T plus 4.5 minutes into today's mission, Eutelsat 10B. So far on the mission, we've had a successful liftoff, MECO, stage separation, SES-1, and fairing separation. Again, as a reminder, we did not attempt the landing of our first stage vehicle today as this mission requires more performance. Again, we will be utilizing all of the fuel inside of the vehicle.
Stage 2 following a nominal trajectory.
We did utilize all the fuel needed for this mission. So the vehicle is being expended today. Now we're currently in the first burn.
So it'll just splash down, break apart. And same thing will happen with the second stage. These second stages do deorbit burns after they deploy the payloads, and they splash down as well. Man, I have been in the mood lately for some KSP2, man. Ever since I did that honorable mention segment a couple weeks ago on KSP2 when they announced the early access, it's been on my brain, man. I can't get it off my brain. That's why I'm wearing the shirt tonight. Yeah. I shouldn't have brought it up earlier in the stream because now I want to play it so bad. What's going on, Florida? Felt it, heard it, shake, rattle, and roll. Titusville. Good stuff. Man, I'm so jelly school. Never seen a rocket lift off in person, personally. I'm saving my cherry to be popped by Starship. Hopefully next month, but we'll see.
Nozzle, and that's compared to the M1D engines that you see on the first stage vehicle. Now, this is to maximize the engine's efficiency in the vacuum of space. Now, at full power, the Merlin vacuum engine operates with the greatest efficiency ever for an American-made hydrocarbon rocket engine.
She's talking about the bell size, the nozzle size here. Much bigger for the Merlin vacuum engine. And if you're just now joining us,
you are watching the mission for Eutelsat 10B's satellite.
So obviously in a vacuum of space, there's no pressure. So they strap these bigger bell nozzles onto the rockets because the exhaust expands more. As you saw when the rocket was ascending, the exhaust behind the rocket started to expand. Well, in space it expands anymore, and that system gives them more bang for their buck.
Uses the same metal in the tanks, same computers, same propellant, and nearly the same engine. Now this allows us to use similar tooling, design, and systems to essentially build two rockets that are more reliable. Again, the next event coming up is SECO-1. This will be the first shutdown of this MVAC engine. We do have two planned burns.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
We do have two planned burns for this mission to get Eutelsat 10B to its targeted drop-off orbit.
Coming up on SECO-1, second engine cutoff 1.
And we are just about 20 seconds away.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
About 10 seconds away from SECO-1 on the second stage.
MVAC shut down.
And there we saw that MVAC engine shutting down. We did hear that call out. Now just waiting.
Nominal orbit insertion.
It's exactly what we were waiting for. Confirmation of good orbit. And now that we have confirmation of nominal orbital insertion, the second stage is now embarking on its first coast phase. After the coast phase, we will light that MVAC engine for a second time around the T plus 26 minute mark. So we'll see you back here in 17 minutes, and in the meantime, enjoy the views and the space tunes.
Nope. No space tunes for me, thanks. I gotta pull up my OBS again. So I'm going to end the stream there, but if you want to continue watching, check out the description below this Rumble video, and you'll see a direct link to SpaceX's live stream. Okay, so you can watch the deployment if you want. Otherwise, I will cover it in Friday's episode of SpaceX in the News. Do a little time lapse for you so you can really see it get jettisoned out there into space. You guys, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an awesomely nominal Thanksgiving. All right. Don't do anything I would do during your Thanksgiving. What else? I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Or maybe it was just that. I'm going to end up going to bed here pretty soon. It's 10:07 p.m. Eastern time. That's my time. I've been getting up at like 5:30 these last few mornings because Wiley wakes me up early and every few hours throughout the night because he has his own bathroom schedule and it's annoying. So I've been getting really tired in the evenings and I want to go to bed early. So that's what I'm going to do. Don't do anything I would do, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Keith on Locals Chat. Good seeing you. And in the Rumbles Rant. You guys have a nominal one. Until next time, Godspeed.